Hi. I'm a little excited. I've been waiting for yarn to do a test knit for pacificknits.com. She puts out some really lovely patterns you can buy, but this is a new one she has, and so I'm test knitting it. I can't share a lot with you, but I am going to share a few little things to help some of the people who in the future might buy this. Now, I am 67 years old, and so my eyesight is not as good as it was when I was 20, 30, 40. And so bear with me about that. She has, in her patterns, she tells you how to cast with the cast on, how to do the ribbing, like I'm doing here. And she also has pictures, graph pictures of her designs, because this is colored work knit. And so when I worked with one of the color knit pictures, I cut out one of the pictures that she had, and there's pages of them. You can put them in a file and use them for other projects, which I'm finding other projects in my brain. Anyway, these files are very small, and neither my husband nor I could read the numbers across the top or on the side, 1, 2, 3, 4 going up to, and then 24 across. And so what I came up with was you could either enlarge them, scan them into your computer and enlarge them so that you could see them better. But what I did was I took graph paper and divided it into the sections for each pattern that I wanted to use in my cowl that I'm making. And then I colored them, and this was really helpful because hers are gray and white, dark gray and white. And so I went ahead and colored in the graph paper with the colors that I wanted to use, which is going to make it really easy for me, an older person, to go ahead and make this pattern. So if that helps any of you older knitters when you make this pattern, yay! The other thing, since I teach online and I have some younger people, middle-aged, I have all kinds of people that have joined me, and some of them have a harder time buying the really expensive yarns. And I love the yarn that comes from Pacific Knits. It's beautiful yarn, but I also wanted to go ahead and help those who have a little bit more difficulty with financing, and sometimes elderly do because they're on fixed incomes, but also younger people who are working and trying to raise kids and buy a house and things. They're having a little bit hard time too. So I went ahead and made those choices based on some of the ideas that I have. And one of the ideas I have is to use the Swish yarn. Now this was about a half what really expensive yarn to do this project would cost. And I'm not saying to not buy the wonderful yarn. Yes, if you're okay with finances, buy that yarn. It's beautiful. It's a little bit tighter than some of the yarns that I've used, but it's really a beautiful yarn. But what I bought for this is Swish. And this is a bigger size Swish, and it's the undyed Swish, because at the time when I was ordering my yarn for this project, they didn't have the lighter colors, white or cream, and so I didn't want to wait until it was back in stock, because then this test knit would have been done, and I couldn't afford to do that. So I went ahead and ordered the big one, which I will use. I make socks and things out of DK, but this is the uncolored. It's just bare. It's called bare, and so I have 100 grams of this, which is good. But the other colors that I picked, and I'm going to show you, they are 50 grams each. They have 123 yards, and this should make at least one. Maybe I'll get a hat out of it too. We'll see. But anyway, these are the colors that I've chosen, and I've kind of stayed with the colors that she had in her example. The first one is Frosting. It's a very light pink. The second one is Blossom Heather. It's a little darker. And the third one is Arctic, light blue. And the next one is Marine Heather. It's a little darker blue. And then I have a Marble Heather. It's called Marble Heather. And as I knit it, I noticed that it has like a little, it has a bluish tinge to it, which makes it go right in with the ocean theme that she has made this pattern with. So these are some colors that I've chosen. You don't have to stick with these. You can try anything you like. Make sure that you do what you enjoy. The other thing that I wanted to tell you was I'm using size 4 for my cast on and my ribbing. And these are the mindful needles from Knitter's Pride, and this one says breathe. So today that's what I'm doing. I'm breathing and I'm knitting. This is going to be a really fun pattern. I have 2 of her other patterns that I'm going to work on, and you get to pick the colors. Because there are so many of these little graphs, you get to pick the graph that you want to use, where you want to place it in your cowl or hat, or even gloves. You could make gloves or even a sweater. I would suggest that if you make this, make a sweater too. It would be really kind of cool with color work. I hope you've enjoyed this. I know it's very short, but it's Happy Mail Monday, and I'm really tickled to be working on this for Pacific Knits Company. Okay, watch for the pattern. I will let you know when it's out, and I will be putting things up on Instagram. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.